Hey guys, Jason Dude Guy here, and I am back with sort of the next part of the Redstone tutorial series that I'm doing for you guys. Um, Last time I basically did the everything where I went over um all the different types of circuits you could do. My frame rate dropped for some weird reason. Now it's gone back up. But basically I showed you how to craft certain things. I showed you how to use the repeater, the redstone torch, and redstone dust. And later as we progressed, I showed you how powered blocks worked and how to use redstone torches and invert cells. And you can just go back and look at those videos if you haven't. If you did, you do know sort of how all this stuff works. And I am recording this the day after. I recorded those videos, but I haven't put them up on YouTube, so I haven't really put them up on YouTube for anyone to post comments on. And yeah, but I actually didn't really explain this too well, but in the next part of the series, which is now, I'm still going to be using our basic components here, only in making sort of circuitry of it, not other components. We're not going to get into any of the advanced components. So basically what this episode is going to be all about is latches and gates. So let me just put a red line here. Or actually, hold on. I have single player commands. So, I can just do this. I'm just going to make a big red line. Long. Because it looks like I'm hovering over multiple blocks. And I'm just gonna basically set it to, I think that's it. No, hold on, 14. I said triple. There. So basically, just a big red line, just to mark off that was the first part of the series. I guess that's what I'll do from now on. And now let's go on to the circuitry. What are gates and latches? That's where we should start. I'll just start. They're basically something with an input or multiple inputs usually, and an output, and some sort of thing has to be true in order for that output to be on. So I'll start off with the basic invert cell, which is actually counted as a latch, I think. And basically, as long as the input is on, as you can see here, the output is off. And then, if you really want to go, let's actually just get out a lever like this. But if the input is on, the output is off. But the best way to say this is the input is true and the output is false. That's how the invert cell works. Now, if you really want to go basic style, you can basically have redstone wire and say input is true, output is true. There's only one input for these two. Now we're going to go on to the AND gate. And just so you know, this doesn't really count as much of a gate or a latch, but I'll leave it here anyways, just cause. But this is the AND gate. So these redstone torches represent our two inputs, and this other redstone torch here with the stuff coming out of it represents our output. How does this work? Basically, we have these two torches touching this redstone, which turns off that torch, and when one of these is off, there's still another one giving power here to turn this one off. So if one input is true, the output is still false. So both inputs have to be true for the output, or the inputs have to be true for the output to be true. If that doesn't make sense, I'll just go over that a little bit more. Basically, actually no, that doesn't really make sense. So basically, if we only have one of the inputs on, there's still another input that's on and keeping this torch from going. and it will not have an output. Um, and I will go over ways this can be used later. Now on to the OR gate. The OR gate is a really simple thing. I think most people should really get it, and a lot of people do get it. Not saying that no one gets it, but you know there have been cases of that before where people don't get it. How does this work? Basically, hold on. I think this is basically it right here. um, as long as one of the inputs, or two of the inputs, or all three of the inputs are on, even if any of the inputs are on any combination, the output is false, as you can see. But if none of the inputs are, if all the inputs are false, then the output is true. Basically, an invert cell with multiple things. Um, let's see, what else is there? I don't know all my gates that well, but this one's a bit more complex. I'll show you it anyways. This is an XNOR gate, which otherwise means an exclusive NOR gate, an exclusive negative OR gate. That's a bit complicated, I know. But basically this is our output, and right here are our two inputs. And how does this work? Well, if none of the inputs are on, or both of the inputs are on, then the output is false. But if only one of the inputs is on, then the output is true. And I'll show you here with the other one. The output is true. How does this work? We basically got, we have an AND gate here, which basically, if both of them are going, or if both inputs are on, then it'll say, it'll give power to both of these, and so it won't work. Or, if we don't have them on, then we still have these two going, which also keep the output from being true. But if only one of them is on, it still keeps this one off, while only powering one of the, only powering one of these invert cells. This is a little bit complex, but, once you really think about it, it's simple. And, this episode today, like I said, I'll just be going over most of the gates and latches, and just and then the next episode I'll use them, how to use them, what they could be used for, or no, basically what they're used for. And that's sort of the end of the first part of the series. Then we go on to medium, I guess you could say, stuff. We'll get into things like pistons and dispensers and droppers and maybe even hoppers. That might be a bit more advanced, probably not. But we have one more thing here, and I'll show you two different real versions of it, since people have made compact versions of it and regular versions of it. It is called the RS NOR latch. That sounds really complicated. I don't really know what that even stands for, except for negative OR. But it basically is a memory cell. So, if I press this button, this output is false, but this input is true. If I press the top button, if I press the bottom button, sorry, then this input or output is true, and this output is false. That can get a little bit confusing because it's so compact. Well, here's here's a bit of a less compact version of it. I'll show you like a really spread out version of it. Let's see. I think it goes like that. Sorry about the flashing there. But basically, if we I'll put buttons here and a button here. If we turn this one off, then this one turns on and stays on. But then if we press this button, it goes the other way around. So it's a really basic memory cell, and with it has two inputs and two outputs. That's a bit of a unique one I've seen before. Two inputs, two outputs, a unique latch, I guess you could say unique. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of any other ones. There isn't much else other than to these ones I showed you here. The basic wire, the invert cell, the AND gate, the OR gate, the exclusive NOR gate, the RS NOR latch. And there's probably a few more that I'm forgetting. If I forget those, I will include them in the next episode, and then maybe the import of where they could be used for would be in another episode after that. That's all for this episode, and goodbye.